Welcome to this intro session on flow creation. How do we create flow? Well, firstly, let's acknowledge that flow is the uninterrupted state of your genius on whatever your priority happens to be, so that you can flow effortlessly and enjoy the task at hand. But as we know in the modern society, there are many trappings, there are many things that take us off task, there are many things that hinder our flow, hinder our productivity, and then ultimately hinder the fruit that we could be producing. So just like a plant, like a farmer or a horticulturalist has to observe what's choking the sap, what's stopping the flow from happening in the plant, so we also must become the gardener of our own productivity. And what I've identified is some very key hindrances to flow that come up in our lives. And the first one is right here. This is when our mind gets externally focused. Generally, first thing in the morning, what do people do? They check their app, they check Instagram, they check Facebook. And what often happens in talking to these people and interviewing them is that their mindset shifts from what they can do to what someone else is doing, or a big world event or something like that. And what happens is it takes them already out of flow, already out of what they want to create in their mindset, and they become a victim to what's around them. They become controlled. They end up comparing and contrasting their lives quite often on Instagram, and they realize, they see the highlight reel of someone's life, and then they see the monotony of their own life, and they think, why isn't my life like this? And so they're already disempowering them from the start. And so what we offer on this course is straight up is the knowledge of this tool, the circle of control, how to completely take control of your controllables. And at least just by knowing this tool and having this in your toolbox and knowing how to use it, you can still take your mind down these kind of social applications, but you'll know whenever you choose you can take it back. Whereas a lot of people don't even realize they have the tool. The next tool that I'm going to couple with this is something that's very unique called the System of Excellence. Now, there are various morning routines around, some are very successful. This one's designed based off all the principles that create success, that sustain success. But I've also created it in such a way that each habit flows after the one before it, so that you can literally take yourself from feeling underwhelmed or overwhelmed, feeling average, feeling uninspired, and go through this process and feel clear-headed in the day, know what's coming up, feel excited, be attuned to your highest priority, and have your body primed and have your mindset on tap. That's what the System of Excellence will do, and I've got it reduced so even if you only have 5 to 10 minutes, you can still hit the key elements of this and still get the benefit for your day. Because people often think, oh, it's only 1 minute, why do it? The point is, it's the effect that it has on your mindset, on your emotions, and what it creates. But in contrast to what 90% of the world are doing, they're turning up to the apps to get fueled up, this will stand you in good stead right from the beginning. What about the next thing that interrupts flow? Well, this one's called lag indicators, and what this is about is when you predominantly, and this is for businesses, companies, and individuals, when you predominantly focus exclusively on the lag indicator, the total outcome, and you end up comparing yourself with that, and then it becomes disempowering, so you end up doing outside-in techniques and band-aid solutions and not going through the correct process of flow to create systemic success. You end up just chasing the lag indicators. The problem with lag indicators is they're very hard to influence, and they happen after the fact, and they lag behind, right? So for instance, if your goal is weight loss, by the time you jump on the scale and you've weighed yourself or you've measured yourself, that's already the lag indicator. It's hard to influence that. And so what do people do? They go on ridiculous things like go and try and starve themselves for most of the day. They go and try and wear a vest that tucks in all their fat, so when they measure themselves it won't look like they've gained weight. But none of these are sustainable. They're focused so externally on the lag indicator. And what we have to offer to counter this is the lead indicators, the ability to focus on lead indicators with a special tool called the scoreboard. And what you're going to be able to do with this tool is really keep track of the things that ignite inspiration and excitement within you, rather than predominantly being focused by the lag indicators. And so lag indication predominantly interrupts flow. Don't get this confused. It's important to keep your eyes fixed on the end in mind. So it's going to sound a little bit conflicting here, but what's important is you don't primarily focus exclusively on lag indicators. and take you out of flow. But it is important to focus on the things that's going to generate the energy that's going to create the outcome you want, which are the lead indicators. So there's that tool in here. The next thing that really prevents flow is this thing here, getting caught in meaningless tasks. How often do we set a goal when we're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed? You know, I want to lose 5 kg by the end of the year, or I want to climb Mount Everest, or whatever your particular task or goal may be. But what often happens in companies and in individuals is they lose track of their end in mind, and they get caught up with a mini task on the way to get there. And so, for instance, let's say it's losing weight, and then you come across the latest fad on keto diet, and perhaps your body's doesn't operate in a great way on keto, but you decide to go for it anyway and lose yourself right within the nuances of it. Then you're getting off track. You're losing your end result, which was to lose the kgs in a healthy way. All of a sudden, you're getting sidetracked in a method and a technique. You're getting caught. But this can happen at a much more micro level like that. Even in the office, you might have started with a real goal you wanted to have for the company, but now you've got inundated with admin, and then an hour fills up after half an hour, after 10 minutes, after another hour, conversations here, conversations there, and you get into the end of the day and you haven't done much at all to move from A to B, your goal. So it looks simple at the start of the day, but with the amount of busyness and errands and things that come in, the simplest task becomes the most complex. And so this is one where people get caught in meaningless tasks. And this is even when you've got a clear stretch to focus on. But the tool that's going to get you out of quicksand is this one. It is the micro begin with the end in tool mind. And you can do this at the beginning of every meaningful session that you go to work. And what this will do is like hitting your wee mini internal GPS button. It'll tell you exactly where you are on the way to where you want to be. A very powerful tool. And what it does is it optimizes your ability to get out of quicksand and then focus on your priorities and not get lost in the quicksand, because this is a common one. Let's have another look at another massive hindrance to flow, and it's actually seeking immediate comfort, particularly when we're in a state of anxiety, and we don't want to actually go through the path of what we need to do to create the result. And what's going to really help doing this, and this can even happen when you've got your goal. I set on a goal and then you settle for something slightly less because of immediate comfort, and that includes the desire to amid the little bit of prickliness, the pain that it might take, but also the desire to hide under a bit of shelter and feel that comfort. But what we've done is we've countered that with this brilliant tool. It's the ability to project pain and pleasure in your mind's eye. When I teach this to people, they can create changes in their life that they were completely stuck in changing before. Changes to their behavior literally overnight once they learn how to optimize this tool. And the more you use it, the more it will condition into your body, and it'll become effortless in creating what you want in your life, because you will start linking pain to the things that really long-term are going to create pain for you and truly do internally. And you're going to link pleasure to your highest priorities. And what's going to happen is you're going to start your behavior is going to become attuned to what you link in your nervous system. So it's an incredibly powerful tool once you learn how to operationalize it. Right, the next one, I like this picture, the baby jumbo being tethered to a large chain, and later in life, the big jumbo gets chained to a wooden peg, and now it still believes that it's tired. And this is the limited mindset, and this is where Roger Bannister, the first man to ever run the 4-minute mile, was able to overcome the metaphorical wooden peg that society had placed upon runners when he shattered the 4-minute mile, because he did something incredible. And many of the greats do this, and it's the power of visualization. So what I've done in this particular part of the course is I've put together all the principles that create the most powerful visualization experience. And you're able to go inside that and tweak the tools, the bells and the whistles to create the visualization experience of your dreams. What that'll do is that is an amazing tool to get you into flow, get you out of stopping flow and into it. Because as soon as you do that, you emotionally immerse your heart and mind, and all of a sudden you're on track with your highest priority in your task. So this is an amazing tool for that. Okay, the next one that really stops flow is when you get involved in a task and then it becomes overwhelming. Either in the bite-sized chunks, it feels there's too much complexity in it, or it's too overwhelming. It's too much of a massive elephant to eat, so to speak. So we've countered this particular flow hindrance with this powerful tool called task obliteration. And what this will do, this will enable you to break down literally any task that you have and get into bite-sized chunks so that you can literally just flow into it. Because all it is getting it empowering enough to know what those bite-sized chunks are, and you use a particular tool that will help them get it down to bite-sized chunks for you, not for the next person or not for a generic bite-sized chunk, because everyone's individual and everyone needs their own knowledge of what their bite-sized chunk is. And so once you understand that, you can empower yourself again, and as soon as you do, you start lighting up inside anyway. You start getting excited and you start getting on purpose because now you're making progress, and that's one of the core human needs. So all of this goes into creating it's called flow creation, and then on top of this you'll get a specialized tool which is called the tools and synergy. And what the tools and synergy will do, I've designed it so literally it'll utilize pretty much every single one of these tools in a synergistic format, so that you can just do one hack, one special technique, and it will activate all of these, and it will only take about 30 seconds before your task to a minute, and then you've ultimately got yourself into flow at a fraction of the time. Because what the scientists say, and they've studied this, people that go into actual flow state, the technical term for flow state, when they get interrupted and they go out of flow, it literally takes them 15 minutes to arrive back to the flow state they were in. So for every time you get interrupted, you've got to take out 15 minutes, add on 15 minutes, and this is creating a very clunky environment. And so the meta tool to understand here would be to align yourself so that you're doing your primary flow activities in one block without interruption, and your admin days another. But that's a topic for another day. The most important thing today is understanding the main elements that take us out of flow and the main tools. And so if you're interested in this course, purchase the course, sign up for it, and start going from unconscious competence to conscious competence, and then ultimately get yourself into unconscious competence where you can do these tools effortlessly and create flow every day that you choose. Alright guys, have fun with this, and we'll see you on the inside. Ciao.